Shout out to fucking Tibbs. Was he a championship coach this whole time? I mean, you could look back when he was in Chicago with D Rose going down. He still had that team performing at a high level. He got Joakim Noah 2 All-Star appearances, a first-team All-NBA, and he wasn't that much of a skilled player. He was just a hard worker. Taj Gibson was a double-double machine. Tibbs always had guys performing at their maximum level. You could even look at Nate Robinson, the way he took out Darren Williams in the Brooklyn Nets in that playoff series. Tibbs, in a way, has always maximized the players that he had. And even in Minnesota, they didn't make the playoffs in 13 years until Tibbs arrived. And even after they left, it took them 3 more years on top of that to make the playoffs again. So this whole time, Tibbs could possibly be disguising as a championship coach that just has some bad luck here and there. But when he actually gets his group of guys that he wants, and he's locked in with the general manager or the slash president, the way he is with Leon Rose right now, we're seeing the fruits of that. Getting guys like Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, Jalen Brunson, Dante DiVincenzo, rim protectors like Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson. We're starting to see the impact that he has as a coach. When you really think about it, he had the resume and the history this whole time, being the assistant coach of the Knicks during their 90s run. He was an assistant coach with Doc Rivers during the Boston Celtics championship run. He just needed to be in position with a little bit of luck. And that didn't happen in Chicago with the D Rose injury. And that didn't happen in Minnesota because Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins was really not about that life. But now that he's in New York, at first he had a stumbling block with Leon Rose with the Cam Reddish move. They clearly wasn't on the same page right after that transaction. Tibbs was not fucking with him off rip. But ever since they flipped him for Josh Hart, and they got Dante DiVincenzo, they got Precious, they got OG, we're seeing the effects of that synergy now. And I'll say this, even through injury, Tibbs got them boys playing hard. And if you fellas want to see proof of that, when the Knicks have one of their nationally televised games on TNT, pull up the NBA app and try to watch the game on the aerial view. And you're going to see how hard the Knicks crash the fucking boards. Other teams don't crash the boards like that. And I can only imagine how bad it gets when the Knicks have Mitchell Robinson down there. Then they're going to have OG. Then you're going to add on top of that Josh Hart. DiVincenzo be crashing the boards like crazy. Precious. And teams have to last through 4 quarters of that beatdown just on the offensive boards. But just to see that effort from a bunch of 6'4" guys like Dante DiVincenzo and Josh Hart, teams around the league definitely are on notice that the Knicks are a problem, even if they're not shooting well. And it's crazy just looking back throughout the past, I would say 2 to 3 seasons with Tibbs, he kind of looked antiquated. But the way the league, it keeps evolving from year to year. Right now, the NBA is so fucking spaced out that the 3-point shot is no longer a better shot than the mid-range shot, especially with the center trying to avoid 3 seconds in the key. If you got slashers like DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, Brunson entering the paint with his floaters, Julius Randle, a bulldog in the paint, and then you got OG in the corner who can not only knock down threes and space the floor, and he could finish at the rim by just dunking the ball, unlike RJ Barrett. That shit is a fucking problem. And this type of floor spacing and relentless attack is not just coming from the Knicks starters. When fully healthy, it's going to be the same type of formula coming from the bench, maybe to a different degree. You might have OG and Brunson in with the bench unit, and then you might have Randle in with the bench unit. But you're still going to have McBride and Josh Hart defending the point of attack, along with the spacing that Bojan now provides. We've seen that relentlessness beat down teams like the Miami Heat in our first matchup, in which they ran out of gas by the end of the 3rd quarter. But hey, right now Tibbs has his type of players, not only in the starting unit, but also in the bench. And it's looking like it's back to him being in that circumstance of having good luck and good timing, as can he have his key guys come back from injury in time to gel and build up that momentum again, then head into the playoffs. It's not really about just OG and Randle coming back before the playoffs. We have to have them sort of come back and gel with the new guys now. with the new bench rotations, and also give Tibbs enough time to kind of figure out, okay, am I going to put Randle on the floor with the bench unit? Am I going to have Hart, McBride, Randle, Bojan, and Hartenstein? Or is it better to sub out Brunson and OG first and then mix them up with that unit? Tibbs is going to need at least a good 10 games to figure that out. But hey, injuries is part of the game.